Hello!
What's up, everybody?
Welcome, everybody, to issue 36 of Boomsies.
And if you've never been here before, I'm gonna kind of give them a little background.
Yeah.
What we are,
Give them a
what
little-
they're in store for, essentially, what they're gonna have to deal
Oh,
with. For
they
the next,
won't ever know
for the
that.
next 45 minutes. What the hell we're gonna be doing?
That is just a surprise until you get into. But what we're supposed to be doing is Mass Geek Debate. As it says down here, we debate every topic in the geek spectrum, from video games, music, television, TVs, movies, and everything
Comic
in
books.
the comic books.
Comic books?
Don't forget
I gotta
comic books.
keep it in there.
Comic books, yes, we do debate comic books. And everything in between.
Yes.
Comic books is included in that. So,
It's true.
And tonight,
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. Okay, comic books, man.
Comic books.
They're here.
Pay attention.
They're here. Boomsies' Mass Geek Debate. Check your sanity at the front door. Darn right, JK. Darn right. Well, tonight, in our first topic, what are we going to be talking about, Landon?
We're going to be talking about kind of some updates. We've got some new writers on the site, and kind of what we're going to be doing with it. You know, we've been talking a lot over the past couple months of,
Right.
oh, we're making some changes, we're doing this, we're doing that, and really it's starting to unfold right now. So,
It's starting to unfurl. The flower and the petals are starting to release.
I don't know how you make everything just weird. Like,
There's nothing weird about flowers. Flowers
This
are a
thing,
completely beautiful thing.
okay. All right. And for the
Okay.
main,
And for our main topic, we're going to be talking about the dark side of video game reviews, the seedy underbelly when they go wrong, with issues we've had about video game reviewers being paid off, being fired for not doing the right reviews.
don't go Vogue, Brian.
Don't go Vogue. Strike a pose.
Yeah. So immediately say don't go Vogue, and that's exactly what
You tell
go
me
with
not
it.
to do something, and I'm doing it.
All right.
I'm doing it. Gall darn it, okay? So that'll be our second topic. We're going to get into all of that. But before we get into our topics, let's talk about what we've been doing this week.
Easy
Starting
enough.
with you, good sir.
Sure.
What have you been up to?
The first thing, over the weekend, I, along with seemingly 90% of the fucking nation,
Yes.
went to see Hunger Games. And
The big movie.
This is kind of the new big entertainment
It's the new
film
Harry
like
Potter,
franchise.
right?
Basically. Well, I mean with Harry, I mean
Based off a book, a young adult book.
right.
That's
I mean,
a series
Right.
transferred to movies.
Yes. Well, it's a 3-part book series that's going to be turned into a 4-part movie series, which it's a very widely popular young adult novel, of which I have not read. When I went to see this movie, I went with Dirk, who you guys might know from our last issue. He was here on the cast. I went with him. He's already read all the books, so we kind of went in, me not knowing
I hear
anything
they're an
about
easy
it.
read.
I don't
fairly
know.
easy.
I couldn't tell you. I haven't even attempted. So
You haven't even attempted to read? I would suggest you start up, bud.
I know how to read. I haven't attempted to read those books.
Oh.
But anyways,
right,
so it was
right.
nice to kind of go in and get kind of two sides of it. You know, how somebody who has enjoyed the books and really liked the books, how they're going to walk away with this film, and how I, really not knowing anything, I didn't even know really the backstory to it until the week of the movie's release, where I was like, okay, now I kind of know what I'm getting myself into. And honestly, really good movie. I mean, it's about young kids, you know, age 12 to 18, basically killing each other in this dystopian future, which is kind of a depressing little, you know, overarching story.
It is, it's
but
pretty
it's
depressing.
a really good film, and it was shot really well. It's directed by Gary Russ, I believe, who did like Seabiscuit and Pleasantville. So fairly popular director. But the opening to this film was phenomenal. I've written a full article, so if you guys want to get the entire review of this,
Yeah.
it's up on our website, substancetv.net.
Full review there.
Look there for the review for Hunger Games. But as I go into it, the opening to this film was phenomenal. There's a nice juxtaposition between where the main character Katniss, where she lives in like basically Katniss, yes. She lives.
Katniss?
It's a K, Katniss. Where she lives in basically
Weird.
like extreme poverty in this district.
Was she named by Gwyneth Paltrow?
I don't know. Does it matter?
Weird name. Anyway, continue.
So she lives in basically extreme poverty, and then you get this stark juxtaposition between where she lives and where this capital city, which all these elite live, and they're the ones that control the Hunger Games, where you know they take these people from these different districts and make them wage war against each other for their entertainment, essentially.
And this has been going on, from what I understand, as far as when the story starts, for years and years and years and years.
There was
tradition.
there was a big revolt years past, and now this is the way the elite won, which normally in these stories you think that, you know, the people rise up and they win. In this case, the people rose up and did not win, and now the elites basically use these Hunger Games to suppress the nations and make, kind of say, hey, remember, we're in power, and like, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a bad story, tough situation for these kids. But it's a really nice juxtaposition between the capital is so bright, so colorful. Everybody wears like bright pinks, bright blues. Their hair is all kinds of crazy colors. And then you put that against the entire opening of the film, showing the stark poverty. Everything's really gray. And the opening of the movie, there's
like Call of Duty.
There's hardly any music in the opening, which really adds to like the poverty. Really adds to the effect of
the ambiance,
kind of the shitty situation these children are put into in this district. So, really great filmmaking, really great acting actually as well too. There's some surprising acting from Woody Harrelson and Lenny Kravitz in this film that actually do a really good job. I like Woody Harrelson; he's off and on for me. I've never really seen Lenny Kravitz in anything else, but he fits the role perfectly.
I could never imagine Lenny Kravitz in a movie.
He fits the role.
Does
really
he ever
well.
bust into song? Is he like,
No.
"Are you gonna go? Wow, what you gonna do now?"
No, but he
And I've got to know.
he plays the character Cinna, and he's pretty important in there for the parts that he's in. Okay, keep going, whatever.
I got it in my head. I'm singing it. Okay.
But he does a really good job. I was really surprised when I heard that he was in it. I was like, well, I don't know how that's going to work out, but it works out really well. So, in my opinion, movie totally lives up to the hype. Give it a shot if you're interested in it.
And I was interested in seeing it to an extent. I'm not pumped about it. I'm not. I'd like to see it at some point, but it just kind of came out of left field for me. But I'll see it at some point.
Dirk, like I said, he had read the books and he walked away really enjoying the film. I mean, they made, his understanding, what he told me is like they kept 90% of the books, which is surprising for a lot of these films that are adapted from novels. Is that a lot of times you have to lose a lot of material, and they kept in quite a bit of material. There's a few storylines that they took out,
right,
and there's a few things that they added into it as well. A lot of like behind the scenes of the control panel of the Hunger Games and how it's kind of run, which it's kind of hinted to in the books apparently, but they really show it in detail and at least for me, I was like, wow, cool. It's nice to see that, but I wouldn't have known, having not read the books. So
Hunger Games must be better than Twilight. I'm certain of that, says J.K. Spencer.
Yeah,
and I would, without a doubt, unequivocally agree, even though I've never seen both films. But I will agree that Hunger Games, I'll just say it, since we're talking about reviews, Hunger Games better than Twilight.
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely, coming from a person that's seen that, so Hunger Games is a really good film. Go check it out. It's definitely worth the hype. So I enjoyed it.
I'll see it sometime. I think it's going to be a good flick. So
I enjoyed it.
Chris says you plugged away, and now I'm exhausted. I don't know.
It's your advice.
He plugged away.
Your advice.
Well, I told him to plug away, but I don't know exactly why he's exhausted. But I'm curious to know. So, anyway, for me this week, I've been playing some more Mass Effect 3.
Never ends.
It never ends.
And you're still not playing the campaign.
Well, I played a little through the campaign, but I've been playing through the multiplayer quite a bit. I've gotten really into the Vanguard on the multiplayer classes. I was in the Sentinel.
Which you got that from Dirk, right?
Dirk, yeah.
Yes.
Again,
got a lot of Dirk in this
Dirk
episode.
Dirk's helping us out a lot. But yeah, Dirk recommended me the Vanguard. I was trying the Turian Sentinel. Problem with the Turian Sentinel, he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's got shields, he's got biotics, he's got overload. So he's got a lot of some of the other classes, and I don't feel he's as strong in one. So I'd always die all the time. So now I've been pimping out this Vanguard, and holy crap. In the silver, I'm beasting. I'm getting like 100,000 points, no doubt, in experience in each level. So I'm loving it. And I have on substancetv.net, you can check. There's an exhaustive multiplayer guide we call Superior Attack for the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer for the Vanguard. And this next week I'm going to be covering some of the other classes and how to make them the best classes, what to put all your abilities and points into, and the strategies behind them. So you can go check out that week. So I don't know, the multiplayer is just great. Yeah, and Ruckus, I'd love to play with you sometime. I mean,
Careful.
Anyway, so that's what I've been up to as far as the first thing. And Landon, what's the second thing you've been up to?
Second thing for me is super exciting for me. Like
what is it? Yeah,
I have purchased a new car.
Great. Now the second thing that I've been up to this week has been
You're an asshole.
I'm raining on your
Yeah.
parade.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it.
I love this car. I have been needing a new vehicle for quite a while. My truck has been...
You have been.
I had a 97 Chevy S10.
You deserve it. You've paid your dues.
And it broke down a lot. And so it is due time for me to have a new vehicle. So I went out... I went and looked at a lot of different vehicles, but I definitely wanted to get the Mazda 3 hatch. It was the car I set out to get, and it's the car I ended up getting. So I went ahead and financed a brand new 2012 Mazda 3.
Cue Price is Right music.
5-door hatch. Yeah, it's awesome. It's got the Skyactiv tech in it, so fantastic gas mileage. It's so much fun to drive. Like this is kind of a sad statement because I'm coming from a truck.
Right.
That isn't that, it was a lot of fun. I really loved my truck, but it just gave me a lot of grief over the past year. To this car, and the whole concept of corners is new to me. Being able to take corners at any speed, it's a new concept.
A new world.
Yeah.
A whole new world.
Yeah. So, it's a fantastic car. I absolutely love this vehicle.
Were you depressed when you found out that Apple does not make a car?
No.
No.
I wouldn't be able to afford an Apple.
No,
car.
you wouldn't be able to. It'd be like $1 million.
No. I can afford Apple electronics, but I cannot probably afford if Apple was
Now,
to make
I gotta
a car.
tell a quick story to our viewers. No, it's a funny one. It's not a bad one. It's funny.
Okay.
It's funny. Landon and I were meeting for lunch. Of course, all last week. Usually he's available at decent times, but I'd call him up and be like, hey, you want to meet for lunch? He's like, yeah, I met with some friends. Got my new car to show them, but maybe later this week. So, later this week, or last week, we met for lunch. So, here's the funniest thing. We meet, and he says, hey, I'm here. I'm in the gray hatchback. I'm like, okay, cool. Now, most of the times, if you get early to a place, to a restaurant, you go inside and you wait for the person. Well, today was a different day, my friends, for Landon, because I see him in his car, and I pull up next to him. He's in the left, and I pull up next to him. And as I pull up next to him, both of his windows are down. And this is literally how he's sitting in the car. He's sitting in the car kind of like this. And as I turn, very much like a movie, he's just like, hey. Almost had to be like, yeah, I am sitting in this car. I don't know if you noticed me in this vicinity, in this hatchback, but it's me. Yeah. Almost had to say, there's an empty seat. Might you like to partake in the surroundings inside here? Because out there, it sucks. In here, it is quite nice. So I took a tour, and I am very impressed with this car. It's a very, very, very roomy, too.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
say
of
this
room.
as a 6'4" guy. I sat in there from the setting that it was just at normally. It was pretty, and I had leg room,
There's a
I
setting
had headroom.
that Madison uses, and she
she is
5 foot, 5 or 5
and
foot
I had
6.
good room, good
at
headroom,
the most.
and the good. I mean, it's a very good car. I've heard good things of Mazda, and the logo looks like Majin Buu.
There's always that.
The M looks like Majin Buu. I want to know: did the guys who created Dragon Ball get the inspiration from
Majin
Mazda, or
Buu.
did the guys
Mark,
from Mazda?
not Majin. It's not a fat guy on the cover.
No, it's not a fat guy.
Or
It's
on
the M, the Majin M. But I'm
Majin
wondering
Buu Mark.
who got the inspiration from whom.
I don't know. Go to Google.
Google that, man. Google
So,
it.
It's fun. I love this car. It's all I want to do. I just want to go drive.
I know that's like I was like, have you been playing games? Like I've been driving.
I've been driving.
and driving.
It's and I didn't think I would geek out over this as much as I have, but I've really geeked out over the Bluetooth functionality in it.
Yeah, man.
With my iPhone connected up, so I can take my phone calls. I can make my phone calls through the Bluetooth as well, and it's also got wireless play as far as music, so I can just play the music straight through the Bluetooth. It's nice. So I have been geeking out over that quite a bit. So nice little concept. I like
great. It's great. Well, congratulations, sir. You deserve it.
It's been a long
That
time
truck-
coming.
How long have you had that truck?
Since I was just before I was 16. Yeah, I was like 15. So,
Majin Buu, the car.
and now I'm 23. So that's
That's right, Sam. I'm a tall
8 years
dude.
now.
I'm a big man. I'm a big tall dude. I'll come stomping around. I'm like Long Cat, but less hairy, without claws.
And yeah, okay.
And there's a whole lot of things that
there's
differentiate me from
other
Long
things.
Cat, okay?
Yeah.
But don't rain on my parade. So the second thing I've been up to has been a little bit of a surprise. Kid Icarus Uprising for the 3DS. I was not planning on buying this game as of 24 hours ago. I was not planning on buying this game. Was not excited. I heard a lot of bad things about it. And then Sean, who somebody will be talking about here in a bit, he showed it to me and he's like, dude, you've got to check this out. I know you've heard things about controls, but check it out. And I did. The controls in this game The customizability, I have yet to see a console game rival the customizability in this game. You can see they tried everything in their powers to make this game customizable for each and every person. And
Except for left-handers?
Well, left-handers, they do have
okay.
left-handed options.
I don't know. That's what they're just getting
No,
at here.
they do have left-handed. If you do have the Circle Pad Pro, you can play left-handed with the Circle Pad or with the buttons. But we actually
So
have...
for an added $20.
Oh, for an extra
whatever.
$20. Now, you can control it with the face buttons. But this here is a whole entire review on just the controls we did over on a YouTube channel. You can check that out, youtube.com, or our website, substancetv.net. And it goes through all the controls because I don't think enough people were informed how great the controls were. So this is just a nice little video, covers all the controls, the options, so you can make the decision yourself whether or not it's worth it. But I've been playing through it a bit. It's a huge game. It's like 25 chapters.
How's
So
it look
much
visually?
Oh, it's a beautiful game. It's
Is it
absolutely
the best looking
beautiful
one
game.
on the 3DS right now?
Probably one of the best looking ones, just from an art and graphic fidelity standpoint.
Whenever Nintendo puts something out, it's going to look good.
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's HAL.
As far as
HAL
coming off of a
does-
Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
So,
And there's a ton of dialogue. Lazy
say that as a
Kirby.
caveat.
The controls seem very odd to play. Oh yeah, Zig was saying the dialogue's hilarious. There's a ton of dialogue in it too. It's kind of really funny, tongue-in-cheek. Almost, there's some innuendos in there too, which is really funny. But go check out the video on substancetv.net. It will give you the lowdown on what the controls are. And I would tell you at least try it at a buddy's house or go to Best Buy and a GameStop, and they will have the ability for you to play it there. I would say it's well worth the cash, especially for everything you get and the weapons and the
Which is it,
multiplayer. I haven't even gotten everything else. It's been
40?
it's 40. They had it on sale at Best Buy. If you're in an area that's Best Buy still open for $29.99 this week.
An area that Best Buy still is. Best Buy shutting down a bunch of stores right now?
No, what I'm saying is it's an hour earlier than us because it's
Oh, okay.
10:18
I get
here.
you. Like to jump
Your
out and leave right
time
now.
zone. If you can
I was like,
time zone.
I haven't heard about Best Buy shutting down, like closing down.
Ty says the only problem with Kid Icarus, the controls, and the sad thing is probably the exact thing is going to be remembered by. And that's the sad thing about it. And I will say it's far from perfect on the controls. There are some issues, but when you customize it to the way you like it, it's a really fun game. And again, highly recommend you at least try it out and check out that video. So anyway, that's about it for us and this week. So shall we move on to our first topic of the night?
Sure.
Which is some updates. We wanted to kind of give the viewers here on Boomsies. We talk about news. Our first topic's always news, so this is news, which is a lot of updates that have been going around here on the Substance TV network, which have been the main news, the addition of two new contributors to Substance TV. And we kind of wanted to, as the mommy and daddy of Substance TV, we wanted to be like, hey, kiddos, don't you fret, don't you worry. You know, mommy and daddy aren't getting divorced. You know, it's just more of like big love. You know, when they have that open marriage thing where, you know, it's like a cult thing, and they get married to multiple people, and you know, we still all have the same roles.
Your references are probably like the worst, like analogies and metaphors.
What? Oh, congratulations! Kansas just won to advance to the champion.
Oh, awesome!
Great.
Yeah.
See, that's about here's the most excited I get about college basketball. Yeah, cool.
We were doing a big bracket thing at work, and I don't know anything about college sports, but I had my friend Ben, who's big into it, fill it out. And I guess there was a bunch of upsets at the beginning of the season, so I am losing sorely right now at work.
Okay, JK, head out. Thank you for being here, sir. We appreciate it. Yeah, and I kind of got out. Well, great, KU, Kansas. Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
The good old state of Kansas.
If I was to root for anybody, it would be that.
Brian's logic equals Charmin Ultra Rives. Welcome, Cookie Army. Thank you for joining again, as always. But we have two new contributors, Sean and Brandon, who have been added just this last week. And I'm telling you, they have just released a slew of awesome articles. We've got everything from music and movies, Kickstarter projects. One of the big articles that Sean just did was an article on The Raid, which is a new movie that's coming out from Singapore. And it's one of those kung fu movies, if you're into that kind of stuff, which isn't. But it's a great little movie, and it's coming out here to the States, so he did a little bit of a preview of it if you want to check that out. And then Brandon...
It's a kung fu film, and yet our clip shows a guy walking up and kissing a pregnant woman's belly.
That's the beginning of it. It's the beginning. It's the baby comes out of the womb. Like, he just karate chops out of the service.
good sneak preview for you right now.
It is. It's a good sneak preview, yeah. But anyway, we have them on, and that article by Sean, he's got a lot of other stuff there, and Brandon's article he had up this week is about the music from this week's program here, which is Blue Screen. The artist is Protodome. Really great jazz kind of chiptunes album, and he's got a full review up on the site, links to the Bandcamp for you to download the album. And I listened to it and was really blown away by it. It's just a nice kind of chill, part chiptune, part real instruments in it, but it's a really good mix of it all. So yeah, I've been kind of yapping on what do you think about the?
Yeah, no, it's
your
nice.
Thoughts on the two other people we got.
Well, it's nice to have people that have more time than you and I. You know.
Well, they have different times. They're like daytime,
right?
Is when they're available. We're more nighttime.
And so it's nice to have people that have enough dedicated time to really pump out, and it's nice to have other people to rest some of the weight on, rather than having weight on 2 person's shoulders. It's now against 4, so it's a lot easier, and it'll be a lot less stress, and it means just more content for
and we can
else.
Mix it up a little bit. You know, we'll have different articles, different writing styles, and that's the main reason we wanted to bring this up. Is that as far as who we are and what we're doing, there's a lot that's changing, but the core of what we're doing, you know, Boomsies isn't going away. And Sean and Brandon have been very, very particular. We were thinking at some point of bringing them on Boomsies, but both of them agreed they don't want to kind of come in here real quick and just gang busters and be all around and talk to everybody. They want to kind of slowly get to know everybody, make articles, and just really, I guess you could say, prove themselves in a way, which they already have, in my opinion. Sean, just to tell you a little bit about him, Sean used to work at GameStop, just kind of as well as you did. He worked out East and you worked at West One. Yeah. This is a guy who is insanely informed about games, not just from a data and, you know, boring figures, but he knows about these games inside out. He's played them. He's got the information. I pride myself on knowing a lot about video games. This is the guy I learned stuff about video games from, new stuff that I've never heard of, and he'll just blow my mind with all this information and people he's met. Really insightful. Brandon is another guy that I've known here in the past year that I've gotten to know really good, who has got a phenomenal taste in music. I mean, he'll just expose me to all this stuff that I've never heard of. And that's why we brought him on, because they are just the best of the best, the cream of the crop. These aren't just some bums we picked off the street. I mean, they are high quality, best of the best, and we thought, we got to have these guys on the site, because
they're local.
They're amazing. And yeah, they're local people. They're not, you know, it's easier to get together and have meetings and, you know, orgies and all that other stuff. So
there you go again.
What?
Go here, orgies.
What, you're gonna deny its existence? So
yeah, I will deny that existence of an orgy.
Just saying. So anyway, as you guys are getting to know them, if you guys have any questions here about these new people or about some of the changes going on, please feel free to ask us, or of course you can call us on the handy dandy Boomsies phone, which is 316-778-0730, or Skype Boomsies, and we'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions concerning these new updates. But the best thing they can do is to check out the website.
Yeah. Especially right now. Now's the best
we
time
have this week
start jumping in.
17 new articles. Great, high quality articles. I mean, these aren't just like thrown out every 5 minutes. These are really, these articles I'm proud of. I know Landon's proud of. That we've all contributed to this thing and are really upping the frequency to where we're going to have, you know, at least 2 to 3 articles a day on the site, constantly updating.
Much nicer.
So
and it's stuff that you might not, you know, if it's not content that you won't find anywhere else, because there's going to be a lot of that stuff that you'll see specifically just here as well. But then you're just going to see our personal takes on it.
Yeah, our personal takes, personal stories, experiences.
Well, you'll get these you know, like that movie that Sean talked about. That's something you're not really going to see typically anywhere else on another site. But then you get to see kind of some of the more stuff that you like, the Hunger Games review that you're going to see elsewhere, but you're going to get to see our opinion and you know us here, and so you'll get those more personal.
Yeah, and it shall be amazing. And that's one of the things too we're doing within the site is we're going to be doing a redesign.
Yep,
which is coming up.
I didn't know if you wanted to share that or not, but
I mean, that's fine. I mean,
no, that's cool. I didn't want to say anything because
cool.
I don't know if we haven't really talked about if we're going to share that or not.
We can say it.
Along with the new content, we're going to give you a new look. And, I know we just recently revamped the look not too long ago, but we're going to really
about 2 years ago, 2-3 years ago.
No, I mean once we revamped this, we revamped.
Oh,
our
right,
look.
right. Our
Yeah.
look
Once we
within the
revamped-
site. But
Yeah,
the
that was when we
basis
started
of the-
Boomsies, basically.
Right.
So that was about
But the basic structure of the site has been that way for a few years
as far
now,
as a visual
and it has
overload.
kind of outlived its usefulness as far as what we're wanting to do in the future. But we'll talk about that more at another time, another date down the road. So anyway, just wanted to give you guys this updates. And oh, I've been wondering about the forums. Yes, we have taken the forums down for now. They were on, but we've gotten a lot of activity on our Facebook and our Twitter. Not as much on the forums, so we're trying to listen to the demands of the viewers and what they want. And we hear everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Twitter. Let's interact on that. We can always bring them back if you're interested, but they're there. They're just hidden. They're secret.
it's just much easier, I think, for people to get in contact and continue a conversation through Facebook.
Right, and they're already plugged into that
It's just
social
easier,
network. It's
so.
not required for them to have to sign up for something separate. But anyway, let's move
Be
on.
sure to like us on Facebook.
Yes, like us on Facebook.
That's the key to that statement.
Yes,
So.
exactly.
But yeah, you want to jump into
Yeah, let's
the main?
jump into the second topic of the night.
So this kind of this is a subject that's obviously been going on for a while. I'm sure most people have heard about the Jeff Gerstmann, I believe is his name. Jeff Gerstmann
Mhm.
worked for what was it, GameSpot?
GameSpot.
It was GameSpot. A couple years ago, whenever Kane and Lynch came out, he was working for GameSpot. Eidos, who was publishing Kane and Lynch, was giving GameSpot a lot of money, doing a lot of revamping the site. It was big sponsorship, going
Right,
on.
big advertising.
Then the
campaign.
game comes out. Jeff Gerstmann gives it his honest review. It was a fair review. Wasn't an amazing review, but it wasn't completely trashing the game. But it just
Right.
was a lower score than, say, Eidos was hoping for. Mysteriously, he was let go. Didn't give an explanation. According to the state laws there, they didn't have to really give
It's
a specific
an at-will
explanation of that. Obviously, it's come out later that, yes, it really honestly was because of that. Once he was let go, a lot of writers left there. And so basically, we're going to have a conversation about publishers and sponsorship through game review websites. And kind of, obviously, there's a lot of cons through that. And why it's not really fair to the business and not fair to any of the consumers. And why it's
Exactly.
really unfortunate, especially in the case for Jeff Gerstmann. And then,
Well, and anybody
Go into
else,
that.
I think there's touching along those lines, talking about video game review websites who.
well, it's not ethical. Is the biggest key thing
Right.
for me is they're on here to give non-biased reviews in the same way that we're supposed to be on here. We're giving our honest opinions. We're not getting paid to say this game's fucking awesome. Go get it. We need to keep
Oh, but
integrity.
Sega and Platinum, you want to pay me to talk about Bayonetta? Give me the moolah. I'll talk about it all day.
Yeah, but you need to have the good ethics. You need to have the good integrity to give an honest review. And if you're in the business of writing reviews, that's a big thing.
Giant Bomb. I respect
Yeah, that's where
Giant
he's at
Bomb.
is-
That's
is
a
Giant
great. That's a great source of information because
He's been doing that since 2008. Yep.
it's a great independent source from a lot of guys who were part of those mainstream review sites who are now onto their own thing, and I completely respect that. Something along those lines, though, there's a lot of gaming websites that video game publishers will give them early access if they're guaranteed a certain score or at least a good review. That's another practice that just bothers me because
It's unfair.
it's buying scores, it's buying people's votes, it's
comes down to ethics.
yeah, exactly. It comes down to ethics, and I don't think the culture we're in within the internet. People are bright enough and smart enough to understand when you see a new review that comes out 2 weeks early before anybody else, and it's a glowing review. 2 weeks later, everybody else craps on it. You're gonna go,
Right.
something doesn't fit in here right.
I mean, it's fair to see that you're going to see, one site's going to give a better review than the other, but if it's glaringly obvious, it's a sad thing, and it's unfair. It's unethical in both terms of the publisher that's paying for the sponsorship, saying, hey, do that, and then it's really unfair for the GameSpot or whoever it is, whatever company that is, to take that and say, sure, we will do that. So they're both to blame for it, and it's just a sad. Saturday, it's just completely unfair.
Well, and I think that goes a lot to kind of along the lines of Metacritic too, where a lot of sites base bonuses and extras upon these reviews. So not only is it publishers giving pressure to review sites to review them well, but publishers giving pressure to the developers to get good reviews. To me, that doesn't foster a good working environment for these video game developers. I mean, when you're working under pressure and you say, I've got to get at least an 80 or a 90 on Metacritic,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's why you just gotta-
that's where, to me, your good work isn't rewarded. You're just rewarded because you had a good advertising campaign, because you paid off the right people. To me, that doesn't say make a better game. That says be crooked. That only inspires people to be more crooked and not to be, hey, let's do something quality. Because
Well, I think it's, and you just kind of have to find those couple places that you kind of trust their review. Use that, but then you have to really honestly just give it your own opinion. You have to try out these games. Unfortunately, you know, you have to take that advice and then make your own assessment.
right, well, it's
for
like
it.
with Kid Icarus with the controls. You know, I think it's great, but the whole reason I did this whole video was to tell people, here's the control options available. Now you decide, does that look good to you? Does that look something like you could today go out and buy it and love it, or you might want to try it out? But I think the problem is we are getting into a generation of people that only rely on video game reviews. So when you have a world where producers, publishers are paying review sites to give good reviews, and we have masses who are following that terrible logic, then we're going to have a generation of gamers who no longer buy games based on merit, but truly based on score, which is why I partially have a problem with score reviews and star reviews and numbered reviews, which I've talked about that at length before, but I think...
See, I don't have a necessary... I mean, obviously it can be unfair, but I think it's nice to have those quick notice reviews so that, you know, if you... Like I said, it comes down to you got to find a place that you can trust, like, say, substancetv.net. But I kind of like to see, you know, if I go to a place that I actually like to read the reviews to, if I don't have the time to read it, I like to see that quick breakdown. I like to see that quick, okay, if it's a star rating, if it's an 8 out of 10, if it's a, you know, whatever it is, if it's the good and the bad, because there's...
Well, but see, the problem I found with that is that most people... Now, you're, I would say, a unique individual, and there's probably people like you, but there's a lot of people who I know literally go page 2, scroll down, see the score, and they want to see those 4 breakdowns of graphics, gameplay, story, whatever. I know a lot of people who do that. Now, you don't. You just use it as a summation of what you read, but I think it only tells people it's okay to skim through all of this and not get to the meat of what we're saying and read this score at the end and then misinterpret that as, well, it's 8.1 and not 8.2, and it's a 4-star, not a 5-star, which...
Well, I don't think everybody necessarily has the time to go through an entire review, though. I think they still kind of need to be there. It just needs to be used honestly, you know. And I think I think where... Here's kind of, maybe I'll put this as a caveat to this statement, is if you just do a 5-star rating, or if you just do a number out of 10, that's too vague in the sense if you don't really know what it is. But where I kind of like a little bit more is the good and the bad, where you've got, say, 5 things that you'll love about the game, and say 5 things that don't
kind
really
of pros
necessarily
and cons.
work.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
it takes what might be a, like you just mentioned there, a 2-page review, summates it down to a couple points,
And
that's digestible.
I
think
can
it
agree
needs
with
to.
that.
I think it needs to come down to
way.
a point where, with as busy as people are, and especially with the mobile market,
Sure.
you're going to be looking for a lot of reviews on your phone, and you're not going to necessarily have time to read a full 2-page
I agree it
article.
should have a way
You
to be
need a
easily
summation.
distilled for people in a summation, but I think we as gamers should do our part. If it's a site that respects their opinions, to read through it all. Which reminds me, you're talking about summations and short reviews. There's that new website out that has one-word video game reviews.
Oh, really?
You heard about that?
No.
There's a big controversy going on about that. They have one-word video game reviews, and a big thing about that has been Mass Effect. The problem with it, though, is it's not a true unbiased place, because you'll have one-word reviews, and then they'll tell you, here's the 3 last reviews, or here's what the 3 main words for this review have been, you know, crap, good, bad. And then you can automatically pick for those. Now, you can put your own, but it almost tilts you in the direction to vote for one of those 3. So, the question is a one-word review too short a review?
Oh, hell yeah.
And
I'll
could
just
that
stop there.
could that tip the scales?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different breakdowns to how you're going to assess a game, and for it just to be a one word, that's not good enough. To me.
Do you have gameplay pads by Mad Cats? Mine glows. My mom got it from a GameStop. Says the ghetto overlord. It just seemed
Alrighty.
random enough.
In all caps.
Lazy Kirby has 5-star rating or 1 to 10 or letter grade for video game reviews. I assume he's asking what do we think?
Well, I think-
Which out of those do you prefer?
Yeah. I think it's basically kind of what we said there. If you're only picking between a 5-star rating, a 1 out of 10, or a letter grade for the video game reviews, I would pick a 1 through 10. But like I said, I definitely prefer sorry, I'm distracted right now.
That's okay. The situation has been taken care of.
Yeah, that was a little unnecessary. But I definitely prefer like the summations. I think it's really nice. Yeah, that was a little unnecessary. I'm really sorry about that, guys.
No problem, Ty. That's what we're here to do.
It's taken care of.
We just lock it down real quick. There's no talk. There's no dialogue. I see that and I go, bye-bye, click.
Yeah. Well, because I kind of saw it come. Oh, that's bad choice of words. Oh, that's sorry. I kind of saw that with all caps, and I was like, well, let's see how this pans out.
Yep.
And it did not pan out.
It's okay. And mods in the room, Cookie, you be looking out for those things and clean up the messes. Do the mod, man. Do the policing.
Yeah.
Knock some skulls in.
But
you're looking at star rating. What is your preferred rating method of choice?
Out of those three, between a star, a letter grade, and a 1 to 10, I would pick the 1 out of 10. Unless if you're doing the 5-star, if you're doing half stars, that helps out. I just want enough to kind of give it a breakdown if you're picking between those. But like I said, it's essentially what we talked about before. I prefer the summations of love and hate, and kind of give me a breakdown between each, because
we've arrived.
Games are so diverse, and I'm going to be we've covered this tenfold throughout Boomsies.
Right.
You and I play games and judge games very differently, and so therefore when you're reading game reviews, we're going to be looking for very different things.
And that's why I think you should read game reviews, because I'm going to be looking when they talk about the gameplay section and certain aspects of that might tailor to my kind of game style. You might look for something that's either a story or a narrative, an art style that says, wow, this really looks great, or this art style is really inventive, or it's unique. So to me, that's where reading a review comes through. As far as what I like for a summation, the only thing that I can at least partway stand is buy it, rent it, don't buy it. Kind of your three choices. Because when it comes to a game, in my opinion, whether it's a star, whether it's a point system or whatever, I'm not going to buy a game based on a score. If a difference between an 82 and an 83 and 84 and 85 is
I can definitely check out a game based on a score, though.
Sure, no, most definitely. But if somebody says, I read through a review and they're like, buy it, okay, they said it's good enough to buy. Now, do I agree with this person? Have I liked their other reviews? Okay, maybe I'll buy it. Or rent it, or don't buy it. To me, that's the only option with the game. I either want to buy it, rent it, or not. So why, it's kind of like, why have the foreplay of all these scores and all these ratings and all this BS when it comes down to it, you're either going to do one of those three things.
Yeah.
So to me, it just takes out the middleman right there.
Yeah, well, and I think, again, it just kind of comes down to find those places, read the reviews, find out where you trust what they say, and you kind of like their opinions, you kind of like how they digest games, and go from there.
Got a call coming in on the Boomsies phone. Hello, you call the Magical Boomsies phone. Who we call and talking to?
Hey, what's up? This is Nash.
Hey, buddy.
Nash, what's going on, bud?
Are you using Skype?
No, he's using home phone.
No, I still don't know how to use it.
He was talking about Skype on the chat.
I added you to contacts. Is that how it works when using Skype?
Yeah, you should just add to contacts. You should just select add to contacts, send us an invite, and we'll get the invite and then add you.
Oh, because I added you to contacts, and I see, like, video call and call phone. Like, and when I press call phone, it tells me to write phone number and stuff.
Oh, right, you got any credits. It should just be
I get it now. I write the phone number there. Oh, crap, I'm an idiot. Anyway, maybe next time. But, what I was going to say, personally with reviews and stuff, I'm the kind of guy that looks up multiple reviews and then look up the Let's Plays and then plays the demo and stuff like that to be really sure of what I want. I'm that kind of dude, I mean, like, before, like, Mass Effect, I knew I was going to get it, but before I did, I checked out 2 articles. One gave it, like, a 5, the other one gave it they're like out of 5-star review. He gave it a 5, and the other guy gave it like a 7 out of 10. And then I checked out the demo, which I also had fun. And then a little one of those little things that those a Let's Play kind of thing. And that made me want to buy it even more. But
so
the
now,
thing is, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to ask. So do you feel comfortable? Like, where do you go to look for your reviews, if you don't mind, kind of?
Well, the thing is, the review thing is getting weird now, because I'm the guy. If it's 6, that makes it better than an average game. But the thing is, I talk to my friends and I go, and long time ago, I wanted to get Darksiders, right? It had I think a 6 or a 7 or 6.5 in the video game magazine, and it goes, why are you getting Darksiders? It got a 6, and I go, what's wrong with the 6? And he goes, that means the game is bad.
Well, I think, yeah, definitely when you make these scores so subjective as these numbers and stuff, certain people are going to judge them differently. Like you, and I would agree with you too. I kind of look at, if I were to see that as a 6, I'm still interested. I'm still, obviously I want to kind of check it out. And I play a lot of games that say he might consider shit, and I still enjoy them. So I can certainly see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I just find it weird that 6 doesn't mean it's a good game anymore. It has to be like an 8 or actually an 8 or higher. That makes it a good game. It can't be.
Well, that's just. I think that's just people putting too much emphasis in these scores and too much faith in these numbers and taking it too much face value, and that's kind of the issue where we're talking about. You kind of need to look at the scores plus what they say in it.
I think that's the problem, though, is that not only is your opinion of what a 6 out of 10 different than mine or Nash's, but the reviewer's opinion of what a 6 out of 10 is. I know, for instance, I saw a video Angry Joe did where he was talking about a 7 out of 10 for him is actually pretty good. Now, 7 out of 10 for me, if I'm looking at it from a grading scale average at school, that's a 70%. That's like a C. That's very, very average. So you've got these two very different ways of looking at it.
But if you look at it that way, though, then
my perception and the reviewer's perception,
50 below is all
average.
That's half of it.
But there's never going to be a common ground.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's the problem. That's the problem with review scores.
You need that caveat. You need that statement along with whatever a score you're going to get. Something that's digestible. A nice 10-sentence digestible review.
I'm just the guy that goes, okay, 1 is bad, 5 is average, anything above 5 is a good game. That's how I pictured it. I thought that's how it's supposed to go. But something happened where 6 and 7 mean average. Which kind of confused me sometimes.
I
don't like that. I really don't like that at all.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that. If it's an average
game, put it at 5. But that's just the way how I work. And that whole thing about, people getting, I can kind of understand on that, these people getting paid for giving a game maybe a better review or something, because I can kind of understand that. Like, yeah, these are their
that's fair?
They need that money, though,
But do you see that as a bribe?
Now, I'm not saying
to me, I see that as a bribe.
It's still a horrible thing. It's a bribe, but
yeah.
In another hand, this is how they're making money. This is how a lot of these websites are kind of. And then again, how many websites are actually going like that? Like, I remember seeing a review that kind of had a backhanded compliment to Origin, and yet I saw that a little trailer around the video to go to Origin and buy games there.
Right.
Which I found, I don't think that it's that bad, but still, I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you for calling up as always, sir. We appreciate your insights, and now you have discovered how to use Skype. And you can call us next time on Skype.
I will use that. I will. Oh, there's one thing. I'm sorry if I'm sidetracking, but do you mind if I can kind of... Have you heard of a game called Lone Survivor? Because, anyone I'm talking to, they've never really heard of this game.
I can't say that I have for sure. I may have in passing, but it doesn't ring a bell.
Oh, man, it's so amazing. It's a 8-bit survival horror game. It is so cool. Made by one guy. It's one of these freeware games, and I'm having fun with it. It's very Silent Hill kind of based, where it's psychological horror, and this is the first time I've ever, because I'm a big horror game. I love horror games, and a lot of these new ones, I played the new Silent Hill,
Right.
I like the story, but it didn't scare me at all. But this little 8-bit game scared the crap out of me with its sound
Had a
effects
good
and
ambiance.
those little creatures. Oh, you got to check it out.
Okay.
It's called Lone Survivor.
We're looking up
Yeah.
a trailer right now
We'll be seeing
to
it
check it out.
in
And
5 seconds once this damn ad is
see it
down.
when the ad loads. And yeah, again, another ad. Speaking of
Yeah.
reviews and being paid, we
And,
will
yeah,
check that out.
I hope to see a review of that. I hope to see a review on that game on Substance.
Oh, dude, you know what, bud?
Maybe.
I promise you, if it's not me or Landon, one of our 2 new contributors is going to be doing something about this. I know I'm interested in it. Just to at least do a little overview of it. We'll definitely check it out, man.
Sweet.
Oh, it's pretty cool
All
look
right,
to
cool.
it.
Thanks a lot.
All right, bud.
Next time, it shall be Skype.
That's
bye,
right,
guys.
Skype. All right, bud. See you later.
Cool, thanks, man. It's kind of interesting here. Yeah, you really can't see much in the game. It's pretty dark.
That sounds pretty interesting there. Algebraic, another thing about reviews is that if the game is a sequel, its score or rating is often based on that reviewer's previous experience, playing that game before the one that's reviewed. Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I think that's where bias, we already have enough bias as it is, just within ourselves. I see a Platinum game, I got bias, man. I'll be the first to admit I've got bias. So we don't need any more bias injected in via cache or via some sort of early review system. To me, as humans, we're already biased enough as it is.
Well, I mean, no matter what, I mean, you're always going to be influenced by your previous experiences, 100%. So,
I have another question. Lazy Kirby asks, what video games, in your mind, did have high expectations but unfortunately got bad reviews? Boy, Nano Breaker would have been one of them mine for me. I had super high expectations, you know. It's the boy who did Castlevania. It's going to be great. There's blood everywhere. And then I played it, and of course the reviews too were bad, but yeah.
did you agree with the reviews?
Oh, wholeheartedly. I bought the
Okay,
game day
alright.
up. It's one of the only games that I went back to the GameStop. Luckily, I knew the manager, and I was like, "Can I return this? Like, can this be your open box copy?" Because I literally just got it. It was that bad. Yeah.
Well,
Breaker as well.
mine would be a little different because I didn't, you know, Final Fantasy 13, as we've talked about, you know, that came out. I had a lot of high hopes for it, and I did thoroughly enjoy it though. But it did get a lot of low reviews.
Yeah.
You don't like the game whatsoever. But I did. That's a game that, you know, I had a lot of hype for it. I think a lot of people had a lot of hopes for it, especially it being, you know, Final Fantasy back to the Xbox 360 as well for a lot of people. But for a lot of people, it got a lot of bad reviews. But I still enjoyed the game quite a bit. But I enjoyed 13 too a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, I know that's what I hear from everybody. Strider saying, so Boomsies, you were going to buy Metal Gear Revengeance because Platinum Games is making it. I will say this, on the whole idea that I love Platinum Games, I'm super stoked for Metal Gear Revengeance, but I'm still in the middle about
Rising
Anarchy Rising Revengeance. I'm positive.
You're still
But
on the fence, even with Bayonetta now added to it?
yeah, because now there's like 11 different modes, but I just don't want it to turn... I'm just watching how everybody controls, and if there's Bayonetta in it, if you have like 10 Bayonetta or like 5 Bayonettas in a match all going against each other, who wins? It's just... I don't understand. So, I wait, but I'm more excited for Metal Gear than I am for the other
Well,
ones.
rightfully so. I mean, it's Platinum Games, but then it's Platinum Games with Metal Gear Solid, so it's a nice combination between the two. So, speaking of Metal Gear, we've got it behind
Metal
us.
Gear.
What are the
It's Metal
chances?
Gear. Yeah. So anyway, I think we've covered the topic pretty thoroughly on this whole...
That's funny. I've converted somebody into a Skyrim.
What?
That's
Oh no.
it's good stuff.
We must stop the cast now.
Good stuff.
We can't continue this. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Here we got one last question.
One
Zig,
last question.
what's your guys' opinion on giving scores for individual parts of the game, gameplay, story, graphics, etc.? You know,
Well, I mean, no matter what, whether or
don't
not you're
like
giving that a
this-
score, when you're
I'd rather have a
when you're-
synopsis than a score.
Well, that kind of comes back down to kind of our just indie,
Semantics.
digestible content.
Right.
But no matter what, I thoroughly expect if you're going to review a game, you need to break down those and look at them both individually and then holistically. And that's kind of the thing.
Holistically.
Use the smart words here.
Use the big edge. I
Yeah.
did get a new car,
But that's
so I've
definitely
been using the big words.
well, that's definitely when I look at games and when I talk about games and movies too. You look at it as a holistic experience and how does one affect the other? Because one might be a phenomenal experience, and one might kind of lag behind, but together they actually work pretty well. And it's really nice. Like I said with Hunger Games, when I was talking about that, the filmmaking in terms of the opening scene, the opening half of it being there's like hardly any music, it's very humorless, and that just adds to that poverty and that stark, unfortunate living situation. And then you get into seeing the Capitol, and then you've got the difference in the colors, and then also the difference in how, because once you get to the Capitol, everything's very vibrant, everything's really bright. So you got the difference in the vague grays, and then also in the way, in terms of color, and then also in the way of like the music and the way that it's.
You mean
presented.
visual syntax?
Yeah, it's just as a whole.
It gives you story. Not in a verbal way, but in a visual way, to where you understand the setting and the people.
Everything needs to be juxtaposed together and work simultaneously really well.
Okay. So think about that. So, anyway, I think we've covered everything here, and yeah, stop doing it. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. Don't do it anymore.
As far as paying off people and firing people.
Well,
but
still do reviews. Right. No.
Yes.
Do reviews.
Just stop doing it.
No.
Reviews.
No more
I'm
reviews ever. I'm out, man. Let's just play whatever comes to you, man.
Little caption for that.
Play games like you did back in the day. Remember when you used to look at the cover and you're like,
oh,
this
man.
looks like a cool cover?
Probably, like,
I'll play it.
Before we head out, like, that was one, like, I've got this phenomenal memory of, before I really ever started looking stuff up and reading reviews and stuff, I went out to Best Buy and picked up one of the games that I remember buying without knowing anything about. I just walked in the store, I had cash in my hand, it was whatever, mowing lawns, as a kid. Shadow Hearts. Buying Shadow Hearts at Best Buy, just picked it up, knew it was an RPG, and it looked kind of cool, took it home. One of my favorite games I've ever played in my life. And just a game that I just happened to just pick up.
Those are fun times. I did that with Shinobi, actually, on the PS2 back in the day at Best Buy. I was just looking at it, I'm like, it's Shinobi! Does it suck? I don't know. I bought it and was just blown away. But that doesn't happen as much as back in, like, when I was going to Dylan's written Nintendo games, you could look at a cover and you had a good, as long as it didn't have LJN on it, you had a pretty good chance to have a good gaming time. So, anyway.
Thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
As always, though, like we've been talking about through the entire first quarter of this show, we're more than just Boomsies. We do have our website. Check us out, substancetv.net. Like I said, we've got 2 new writers doing a lot of really fun
new writers.
stuff.
We've got articles
Great
like
articles.
your Hunger Game review. We've got my multiplayer guide to Mass Effect 3's Vanguards. We've got the review of that new movie, The Raid. We've got the music review of this album by Protodome called Blue Screen. I mean, just so much content. I can't even remember it all we've got up here. And we've got some more stuff in store this week, too. You're going to want to come by daily. Keep checking it up. And get checked up on that content. Because we post
to stay completely engaged with us. Like, to always have a clue of what's going on. Check us out on our Facebook and our Twitter.
This is like spooning with us. It's like, yeah, we're away, but when you want to spoon...
Yeah, whatever. Boom. It's just quick, easy, up-to-date information on what we've got going on. Facebook.com/STV Social. Check us out on there. And then Twitter, we're at Substance TV. So a lot of really fun stuff there, and always, especially tonight, we had some amazing questions. I really, really enjoyed the questions that we had today. So keep those coming, both in the chat here, every single issue. Send us questions on Facebook.
And I would
love to answer them.
I think we'd love to answer them on Facebook, and if we got enough of them, doing the supplementary episode or something where we just took those questions and answered them.
Like I said, we've got our new, what we kind of introduced, branded last time, was our editor's notes.
Yep.
Send us enough questions. We're going to answer your questions on editor's note.
Yeah, we'll do another show right after this one to supplement that up, because we really, and again, one of the things we're going to be talking about in the future about Substance TV is involving you, the viewers, in a huge, huge way that I know a lot of sites don't, but we really want to make really happen big. So, anyway, that's about all I've got to say.
Thanks for joining.
Yes, definitely.
this night was really fun.
So we had a
really
really great time. So we'll see you next week. And if you want to see what we're doing next week, do follow us on Facebook or Twitter, because we announce those on Wednesdays.
Every Wednesday.
For next week. And if you have topic ideas, throw them our way and we'll check it out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, for Brian
and Landon,
we'll see you next week, Saturday, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, for another for another amazing edition of See You Later.
Thanks, guys.